So you might be wondering, what is a virtual ghost hunt? How do I play? What is a virtual ghost hunt? How do I win? I'll explain this very briefly. We're going to be playing a popular indie horror game called Phasmophobia. If you haven't heard of it, it's an online game that's exclusive to computers about tracking down and identifying a ghost that's haunting a building before it kills you. It's like a multiplayer version of one of those ghost hunting shows, except the ghost is real and actively trying to drive you insane so it can kill you. It's incredibly fun, intense, and one of the best team games ever made, as proper communication and teamwork are the most important skills to exercise in this game.
But I'm not a video gamer. I've never played a game in my life.
It's cool. First of all, I'm going to be teaching you basically everything you need to know. Secondly, we're going to be playing a very dumbed down and simplified, but still engaging and intense, version of this game. And finally, if you take getting hunted by the ghost out of the game, what you're left with is just a simple puzzle game in a 3D first-person environment. This isn't going to be some test of your finger dexterity and reaction timing. This game is a test of strategy and critical thinking that's all about coming together as a team and solving a mystery. The only thing experienced video game players are going to have over anyone else is that they'll probably know where the B button is without having to look. But if you've never played this game before, everyone is basically going to start out on the same level. Keep in mind though, this is a horror game, and it's a very scary one. Considering the ghost is actively trying to stop you and you'll be forced to interact with it in all sorts of ways that can really blur the line between reality and the game. If you think you don't handle horror media or your own fear very well, then this game might not be for you. However, if you find horror to be thrilling or exciting, then you'll really enjoy this game and its mechanics. So, with a proper summary of the game and a bit of housekeeping out of the way, let's begin the tutorial. We'll be using a combination of an Xbox controller and a computer mouse for this game. Here's a quick run through of the controls. Left stick is move. Click it in and move to sprint for a few seconds. Right stick is camera. Click it in to toggle crouching on and off. Left face button picks up items, which will either go into your hand or into your inventory. Right face button drops the item you're currently holding. Top face button swaps between your held items. You can hold up to 3. Bottom face button interacts with things in the environment like light switches and doors. Important note, to open doors, you have to combine holding A on the door and then moving either analog stick in the direction you want the door to swing. Right trigger uses the primary function of held items, generally for turning them on and off. Left trigger uses the secondary function of held items, generally for mounting them on surfaces. Left bumper will enable voice input for as long as you hold it down. Select is your journal button, and you'll be using the mouse to navigate it. And this one isn't strictly necessary, but down on the D-pad will toggle your flashlight if you're holding something that isn't a flashlight but you have one with you. That's all the controls. You'll be using them to do all kinds of things, but the main things you'll be using them for is operating your ghost hunting tools to collect evidence. Here's a list of the tools you're going to be using and their functions. The flashlight. Straightforward, point-and-shoot flashlight that points a cone of light in the middle of your screen. The EMF reader. Pressing right trigger turns it on. Use it to find the ghost's favorite location by walking around with it and watching for it to light up and start beeping. Fun fact, this is a real ghost hunting tool. The UV flashlight. Functionally identical to the flashlight, but dimmer and used to find fingerprints. Make sure you're in a dark room to see fingerprints clearly. The spirit box. Used to ask questions to and get direct responses from the ghost. Use right trigger to toggle it on and off and hold left bumper to start asking the ghost questions. If it fails to pick anything up, a black X icon will light up. If it detects a ghost talking to you, the black ghost icon will light up. Here's a few good questions to try. How old are you? Where are you? Why are you here? Make sure to check the overview tab of your journal to check who the ghost responds to, as you may have to be alone for it to speak to you. Ghost writing book. Place it on the floor with left trigger, preferably in a high traffic walkway like a doorway. If the ghost walks over it, they'll write in the book. Dots projector. Mount it on a flat surface with left trigger, preferably on the ground or a wall. An array of lasers will come out in a small area near the mounting location, and if a ghost walks through that area, you'll see its translucent silhouette. Don't just sit there watching it though, you can remotely monitor the projector using the video camera. Mount it on a flat surface by holding left trigger and then rotating it with the right stick until it's facing the direction you want. Preferably, you'll want to put it on a raised surface like a table, but if none are available, you can just put it on the ground. Use it to monitor the ghost's favorite location once you've found it for multiple pieces of evidence. You can look through the video camera's feed from the van computer. More on that later. Digital camera. Take pictures with the right trigger. Point it at just about anything spooky or supernatural and you'll get an extra point. You can use the Photos tab of the journal to check your photos and confirm if you've got something. Good photos will have a note attached to them stating what you took a picture of. You can't take 2 photos of the same thing, even if you see something twice. These are the tools you'll be holding, but you have more equipment in your ghost hunting van, which is a safe hub outside the building you can use to monitor all sorts of activity. Here's what's in the van. The van computer. Used to look through security cameras around the building, and crucially, to look through the video camera. You can scroll through different camera feeds by pressing A on the mouse, and you can turn on and off night vision by pressing A on the keyboard. A video camera in the ghost's favorite location with night vision turned on is the van computer's best friend, the setup timer. A digital clock above the computer that counts down 5 minutes. Once this 5 minutes is up, the setup phase has ended, meaning the ghost is allowed to hunt you at any time. The map. A map of every layer of the house and its layout. Pay attention to this icon in particular. This is the circuit breaker. You'll need to know where this is in case the power goes out and lights stop working. The Ghost Activity Monitor. Rates ghost activity on a scale of 0 to 10. You'll need any level above 0 to detect evidence, except for fingerprints, which will linger for a short while once they're left. An activity level of 10 is very, very bad. Don't be in the house when this happens, or else. The Sanity Monitor. Each player starts with 100% sanity. As you explore the house, your sanity will deplete if you spend a lot of time in dark areas or witness ghost activity. The lower your sanity goes, the more likely the ghost is to try to attack you. If players have different sanity levels but are in the house at the same time, both players are at the same risk as the most insane player. There is also a corkboard in the van that gives you some information, but nothing you can't find in the overview section of your journal. Finally, let's talk about the journal. This is the most important item in the game. You will need to know how to use the journal to win the game. Open it with Select and use the computer's mouse to navigate through it. You can turn the pages on any tab you have open by clicking the bottom right and left corners of the journal. Let's talk about the tabs. The Items tab is a list of all the items in the game and what they do. The Overview tab is only useful for this information. You can ignore the rest. It tells you the ghost's name, which can be spoken out loud to instigate ghost activity, who the ghost responds to, which is important to know for using the spirit box, and a list of keys and other team inventory items you've collected. The Photos tab is for reviewing your photos to make sure you snapped a photo of something the game identifies as supernatural. The Evidence tab is literally how you win or lose the game. The top section has all 7 evidence types, and each box can be checked in to confirm them, crossed out if you think they're impossible, or returned to neutral. As you do this, the bottom section will gray out ghost types that aren't applicable to the evidence you've selected. Once you have 3 pieces of evidence, there should be a single ghost left, which you'll need to actually click on to circle it and confirm it as your team's official guess. If all ghosts are grayed out, something about your evidence section is wrong. You'll have to change it. Finally, the Ghosts tab is a list of every ghost in the game, and it is your lifeline in situations where you don't have enough evidence and your sanity is wearing thin. Click on a ghost to see its unique personality and its strengths and weaknesses, as well as the 3 evidence types that give it away. If you find yourself narrowed down to only a few ghosts, but you can't get your final evidence type, you may be able to more easily suss out what kind of ghost you're dealing with by using the Ghosts tab and a bit of critical thinking. Okay, that's it for tools. Now, let's talk evidence. You'll need to collect evidence to identify the ghost. There are 7 different types of evidence, and each ghost will only give you 3. This is how you'll narrow down what ghost you're dealing with. The 7 types of evidence are EMF level 5, obtained when the EMF reader lights up completely during a period of high ghost activity. Fingerprints, obtained when the ghost interacts with an object in the environment and you shine a UV flashlight on it. Handprints also count as fingerprints. Make sure the lights are turned off to see these more clearly. Spirit box, obtained when talking to a ghost with the spirit box and getting a response that is confirmed by a lit ghost icon. Ghost writing, obtained when a ghost writes in the ghost writing book. Dots projector, obtained when a ghost walks through the dots projector. Spirit orb, obtained by using the video camera and the van computer's night vision to see a small speck that resembles a tiny dust mote flying around in the frame. Freezing temperatures, obtained by simply seeing your own breath at the bottom of the screen. It's important to note that a ghost will not always leave its dedicated evidence types behind. It's very likely, but not certain in any case. So don't think that just because a ghost touched a door or a light switch and you didn't find fingerprints doesn't mean it can't leave fingerprints. You'll likely have to use a bit of trial and error with each tool to verify beyond a shadow of a doubt whether the evidence is there or not. Finally, let's talk about a fun little bonus mechanic called Cursed Possessions. Inside the house, in a random location, you will find a cursed possession. There are 6 in total, and each have very different, very unique functions. but all of which come with incredible risks. The music box. Play the music box by holding it and pushing right trigger. The ghost will reveal itself by singing along to the song. Do not let the ghost get close to you while you're playing the music box, and especially don't drop it while you're playing it. The Ouija board. Place the Ouija board on the ground and interact with it with the A button. While active, use it like the spirit box. Feel free to ask the ghost any question, but beware. The more practical the question is to your investigation, the more sanity the ghost will drain from you when answering. Simple questions about the ghost's life will drain very little sanity, but questions like, what room is the ghost's favorite, will severely cut your sanity. The ghost may even respond to jokes or play hide and seek with you. Make sure to ask a good question. A picture of the Ouija board can be taken both before using it and while a ghost is moving the planchette. The voodoo doll. Interact with the voodoo doll with the A button, and your character will push in a random pin on the doll. There is a 9 in 10 chance you will force the ghost to reveal a random piece of evidence, with a 1 in 10 chance that you'll push the pin on the doll's heart, instantly initiating a hunt. The haunted mirror. Interact with the haunted mirror with the A button, and it will give away the ghost's favorite room. However, you will lose 10% of your sanity per second, so look away as soon as possible. If your sanity reaches 0%, the mirror will shatter and the ghost will hunt you. And even if you survive, you'll be quite the liability to your team. The summoning circle. You cannot interact with the summoning circle, as I will not be giving you a way to light its candles, but you can still take a picture of it for a point. The tarot cards. Hold the tarot cards and draw a card with the right trigger. To count towards secondary objective points, both players must draw 1 card, or if there is only 1 living player, that player must draw 2 cards. The bonus is that you will get 4 points instead of 3 for using the tarot cards. Here is the list of cards and what they do. The Tower will force a ghost interaction. The Wheel of Fortune will increase your sanity by 25% if it burns green, and decrease it by 25% if it burns red. The Fool will appear first as another card, then turn to the Fool before disappearing, having no effect. The Devil will force a ghost event like a manifestation or flipping of the circuit breaker. Death will trigger a hunt. The Hermit will trap the ghost in its main location room for 1 minute, unless the ghost is currently hunting you. The Sun will restore sanity completely. The Moon will deplete sanity completely. The High Priestess can revive a dead player, or cause the next player to die to be immediately revived upon being killed. The Hanged Man will instantly kill the player. And that's it. That's all the controls, mechanics, everything. Now, before we set off, let's get you informed on how this game will be played. You will be grouped into teams of 2. Your teammate will be random. If there is an odd number of players, the solo player will get a free choice of anyone in the room to partner with, but they must pick a partner before the game starts and will not be allowed to change. You will take turns, 1 team at a time, going into the computer room to hunt the ghost. You will start in the ghost hunting van, and you will be safe. Here, you can get a feel for the controls, check the map layout to plan your route, and locate the circuit breaker, and discuss strategy with your teammates before you begin. When you are done, grab the building key from the back of the van and press the keypad to open the van doors. A timer will begin the moment you open the front door. I will be counting how long it takes you to succeed or how long you manage to survive for the purpose of tiebreakers. Whether or not you both survived will also be used in the case of a tiebreaker. While exploring, each team will have a lifeline, which they can use at any time by having all surviving hunters enter the van and calling for a lifeline on the microphone. I will enter the room and answer 2 questions, 1 for each hunter. You can ask anything, from basic questions about controls to asking me what ghost I think it is. Use your lifeline at the right time, ask the right questions, and you might just get yourself out of a tense situation. You will play as one of 2 characters, Tom and Sherry. Both characters are functionally identical and can do all of the same things. However, should the players split up so that one can stay in the van while the other explores, the player controlling Tom has access to a much better microphone, and thus is more likely to get responses from the ghost if necessary to do so. But by no means do you have to do that. You may strategize and do as you like. It will likely be necessary on larger maps for both players to spend most of their time together anyways. With that out of the way, here are your objectives. Your primary objectives are simple. Locate the ghost's room. Collect all 3 pieces of evidence. Successfully guess the ghost, mark them both in your journal, and have all surviving ghost hunters escape in the van by entering the van and pressing the keypad. You must guess the ghost in order to be credited for completing primary objectives. This means it is possible to guess the ghost without collecting any evidence, leave immediately, and still succeed in your mission. If and only if you are able to guess the ghost, then you will also earn points for secondary objectives you've completed. Your secondary objectives are as follows. Pictures of paranormal objects or events count as 1 point. Note, you must open your Photos tab in the van at the end of your mission so that I can see all the photos you've taken to confirm them as valid. Otherwise, these points may not be tallied. Pretty much any spooky event or object, including a picture of evidence collected by ghost hunting tools, will count as a paranormal photo op, so think on your feet. Find and collect the bone for 2 points. The bone is an item which spawns randomly in the house that resembles various human bones. Collecting the bone will count as 2 points, and an extra picture can be taken before, but not after, collecting the bone, for 1 point. Interacting with a cursed possession is worth 3 points, except for the tarot cards, which are worth 4. Note, you must get a response from the Ouija board to earn its points. A picture can be taken of each cursed possession for 1 point, and the Ouija board can be photographed twice. Once before it is used, and once while the ghost is controlling it. The summoning circle cannot be used, it can only be photographed for 1 point. Pictures of the ghost count as 4 points. There are 2 different kinds of ghost pictures: manifestation pictures and hunt pictures. When the ghost appears to you but isn't hunting you, that's a manifestation, which it does to freak you out and reduce your sanity. Taking a picture of it will make it disappear and earn you 4 points. If you manage to take a picture of the ghost while it's actively hunting you, that counts as a different picture. It is therefore possible to earn 8 points total just from ghost pictures, but one of you will likely not survive the endeavor. Finally, each team will be permitted to choose the location of their hunt, each with widely different layouts and requiring different methods of tackling. Larger buildings can be harder and take longer to find evidence and score points, but can be safer in the case of a hunt due to there being more room to get away and hide. Smaller buildings will generally be easier, but too small and there will be nowhere to hide once the ghost inevitably comes. You will be rewarded a hefty amount of secondary objective points the more difficult of a building you choose, with the most difficult maps providing the opportunity to earn so many points as to absolutely invalidate your competitors' efforts. But be warned. Choose too difficult of a map and you'll need not only strategy, but sheer luck to get everything in time. Phasmophobia is a game made for up to 4 players and much more equipment than you're going to be using. And a map like the abandoned insane asylum is a true test even for skilled veterans. But don't think I'm saying it's not possible. I'm giving you the option for a good reason. You could pull it off, and if you do, it'll be hard to top. That's all for earning points. We're almost ready to begin. But before we do, we need to talk about the ghost. Specifically, getting killed by the ghost. I've mentioned the ghost will hunt you many times. Here's how to defend yourself from a ghost hunt. You can't. The best you can do is run and hide. You will know when a hunt has been initiated, when all the lights start flickering and you hear a heartbeat in your ears. Manifestations and ghost activity can also cause this to happen, but it's much less pronounced. Don't get them confused. The most obvious signs that a ghost is hunting are the front door locking and the activity monitor in the van reading a level 10. Now, pay attention if you want to survive a hunt. As soon as the ghost starts hunting, there is a 5-second grace period where it will not immediately manifest itself. This is another easy way to tell if a ghost is actually hunting. If you experience ghost hunting effects but see the ghost right away, snap a photo of it. It's harmless. If not, you will have 5 seconds to start towards a hiding place, the best of which are closets, lockers, and the back corners of rooms with few viewing angles. Once the ghost manifests, it can hear you, so try not to be sprinting or shutting any doors you don't absolutely have to. The hunt will last between 15 and 30 seconds, after which the ghost will disappear. If it spots you, however, it will kill you, and your only hope is that the hunt ends before it gets to you. Dead players will be forced to leave the room, and their teammate will have to go the rest of the mission alone. But death isn't all bad. You can snap a photo of your teammate's corpse for 1 point. Finally, we come to the end. With everything out of the way, here's a final refresher on what you should do before you begin. Locate the ghost's favorite location to start collecting evidence. Collect 3 pieces of evidence. Guess the ghost. Mark the evidence and ghost in your journal. Find and collect the bone. Use cursed possessions to gamble for extra points and help with the investigation. Take pictures of any supernatural activity you see. Escape on the van with at least 1 survivor. Good luck in there, hunters. And whatever you do,
Don't break my shit if you get scared.